It is party time, Mom. Welcome to another episode, Monday episode of the Chad Prather Show. I kind of got tickled before we came on here because Kayla Swift, Candace the Queen, sitting over there. Kayla she started to count us in with a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and she said, I looked over at the little console over there like she had to remind herself how to count down. It's like you were reminding yourself over there, Kayla. Oh, my gosh. Candace, the Queen. Oh, I was at an event over the weekend. It was a political event down in the Houston area, and people were coming up to me asking about you, Candace. And they were telling me things to tell you, little words of not only encouragement, but it's like, Candace should try this and Candace should do that. And I honestly don't remember any of their advice. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Over at the pub, Hot News Natalie and Lisa Page made me do it. Oh, you girls are looking lovely.
Do they have any advice for us?
Yeah, what's the advice?
Nope. No, there was nothing.
Like,
they had nothing for
tell
us.
that Lisa to stop laughing. She's so annoying.
See, they like to tell you to quit laughing,
Oh, yeah.
and they tell Natalie to,
Shh.
just be great.
No, they're like, Natalie's so hot.
Oh, they're
Natalie's so hot. Lisa,
she
stop
talks
laughing.
too much.
It's fine.
Is it, though? I'm sensing a little bitterness
It's totally fine.
in you,
Totally
Lisa.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, your mom, Natalie, you were gone all last week. Your mom had surgery. They took her head off.
Yep.
They reattached it.
Yeah.
We just talked to her on the FaceTime.
Yes.
And the head's on straight. She's looking good.
She does look good. I've been living at the hospital with her. They actually did a 7-hour surgery over 2 days where they went through the back and shaved a bunch of stuff inside and then flipped her over and then put a bunch of titanium in here and then flipped her back over and put a bunch of titanium back here. So
Now, last year, your husband, Joseph, he had neck surgery.
he had neck surgery too. It's not me.
I think I'm starting to see a
You
connection. Lisa, are you starting to see that?
If one of us need to go in for surgery, we're going to know. It's you.
Well, all of the hairography I did as a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, you think I would be the one who needed my neck replaced because there's a lot of head spinning and
A lot
turning.
of head spinning.
Lot
At least
of
you
it.
didn't have like in professional cheerleaders. In the NFL, y'all don't build pyramids or anything. So,
No.
but you would make a great base.
Yeah, I was built
I'll
to be a base.
flyer. She could be the base.
That she could be my flyer. I've always been a base. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in proportion, but I'm super tall and
Someone was talking about you at the event over the weekend, and they were talking about how beautiful you were as a Cowboys cheerleader and today. And I said, well, you know, she had the widest hips of any Dallas Cowboys cheerleader in the history of the organization.
some people appreciate curves.
And they said, there's nothing wrong with that. And I said, but you should see these hips. They're really, really wide.
I do have wide hips.
They're
I
really-
do, but as long as they didn't make a muffin top
Yeah.
in the
I told him,
shorts.
I did in your defense. I said, she's still got her abs and all that stuff. We're really revealing too much about you right now.
Yeah, I
should
still
know
have my
these things.
6-pack, but I just will always have a big butt.
Yeah, well, speaking of big butts, wide hips, and the Dallas Cowboys in the hot seat, we got Cory Procter, former guard and center for the Cowboys. What does it feel like to have Tony Romo's hands between your legs?
He always commented on how good I felt. Listen, that's what it's about.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't know how anybody, even bent over, I don't know how anybody sees over you. It's ridiculous. We're going to get into some cool things today. I'm glad you're on the show. We're going to talk a little bit about this vaccine nonsense and how it affects sports and a lot of things that are going on from the Olympics to what's happening in the NFL and various other things. I got all dressed up for you. And I'm a little...
Business and fishing all in one.
I know. I mean, I had to do a look at this. This is the epitome of just pathetic right here if you see the full shot. For those of you who are listening, I've got the suit jacket and the shirt on, but I've got shorts and flip-flops on.
It's like a mullet in a human form.
Yeah. I am always a party on the bottom. I'm a little pissed, though, because I was checking our rankings on podcasts on Apple, and we're not in the top 150. We're actually not in the top 200 right now. We have fallen off in the rankings. These are purely vanity rankings, but trust me, to a vain person, these kind of things matter.
That
That's what I'm
hurts.
here to help for.
Thank you, sir.
I'm here. I got you.
And I'm telling you, Cory, this is the deal. And you know what it is? People have to go to where podcasts are offered. They have to type out a little review. They can say, yes, Natalie's hips are wide. Yes, we don't want to hear Lisa laugh. They can say all these things.
Tagging us.
Yeah.
And they can say Chad is great and leave a 5-star. What is it Stu always says? That is the appropriate star.
Yeah, like you could say, I hate the show, but just give us 5 stars.
Yeah.
It all comes down to the star ratings.
It comes down to star ratings.
Yeah.
It gives us the rankings. And this is the first time in years that we haven't been in the rankings. We fell out. I'm like, what is going on?
Fell out like your pants fell off.
Yeah.
Is there any
yeah.
in between of that though? Like it's usually I love the podcast or I hate the podcast. There's 5
I mean,
or
who
1
leaves
stars.
a 3? You know, I mean, what's the point
That's
of leaving
somebody
a
who's
3?
sitting on the fence of life.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're about.
I mean, I'm one of those strongly disagree or strongly agree guys when I'm
Yes.
taking a survey.
Yeah.
Like I'm either for it or against it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just kind of the way I am. But I'm going to talk, and y'all know I'm against a lot of things. So we're going to talk about a lot of that today. But before we do, I warned you about home title theft, where cyber thieves remove you from your home's title and become the owner. I said, you better get home title locked because it's coming. I've been telling you guys, I keep reminding you, Facebook had that big breach. 500 million accounts were exposed to cyber thieves. And according to cybercrime experts, everything thieves need to take over as the new owner of your home. It was leaked. They got your name, they got your address, personal information. It's all out there. What happens is a thief forges your signature on a quitclaim deed stating you sold your home to him, and he'll leave you in debt, or worst case scenario, even have you evicted from your own home. You got to do what I did. Protect your home's title with Home Title Lock. You can go to HometitleLock.com, register your address to see if you're already a victim. Sign up for 30 free days of protection during this high-risk breach. And again, go to HometitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO. That's HometitleLock.com. Promo code RADIO. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. We got Cory Procter. Cory played for the Dallas Cowboys. You also played for, you were with Detroit. You signed originally with Detroit, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then you finished your career in Miami.
Miami, that's where all athletes die.
That's where everybody retires in Florida, right? And now you have Pro Capital Wealth Management.
Yep.
And what do you think about this market? This going. I mean, it's weird days we're living in. I think the dollar's been drastically devalued to the point of almost crisis levels.
It's sucks. I mean, we're storming right now, and I can't predict anything like anyone else can.
Right.
But you always want to have some sort of undergird protection if you can.
Yeah.
And so I just can't stand what we're printing money like crazy, and we're just putting so much out there. It's like what you expect something to pop at some point.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people on Hinge.
In the last 3 or 4 months, we've printed more cash than we ever have in the history of the United States.
Well, because why not?
I mean, you can't.
Why not?
I mean, it's paper.
I mean, it's like
paper.
I always say,
Paper,
they're going
just trees.
to talk about $6 trillion infrastructure
That's how
plan.
you fix it.
Where you buy scuba gear for Paraguayan divers and gender studies in Pakistan, and then we're going to have
That's a real need.
$1.9 trillion stimulus package and bailout money. And I'm like, what does a trillion even mean? Nobody knows what a trillion is.
I got a 1.9.
Real money. Real money.
That's true.
Let me sniff your kids.
I do a pretty
Is that
good
too
job.
much? Is that too far? No.
That's
Okay.
good.
No,
Oh, nailed
you're
it.
exactly right.
That's
The dude's a creep, man. I've started doing this thing on TikTok. You got to follow me, Chad Prather, on TikTok. And I'm like, screw it. I'm with the kids now. I'm just going to give all my information to China. I'm like, they got it anyway.
My wife made me delete it because of that.
I know, right?
I'm like, crap, now I don't
So
know how they got it.
So I've got like a series of 12-year-olds that are working on my campaign, and they work in the warehouse at our distribution center. Watch Chad.com's where all the fun stuff is. And it's like a sweatshop / we're running a little communist dictatorship in my campaign. And these kids will get on TikTok. They all have access to my TikTok account. And the thing has grown to like 100,000 followers like
Whoa.
overnight.
Dang.
All because the kids are on there doing just nonsense. So I'm not to be outdone by a 12-year-old. So I've started taking little Joe Biden speeches where he's just totally fumbling them, and I'm like acting out trying to listen to him and stuff.
And take notes.
So bad.
Yeah, and
Painful.
it's really bad.
Yeah.
It's sad, and you have to laugh at it.
Yes.
You have to laugh because it's sad.
All the videos that are coming out. You see the belly flop video when she does a professional dive and she belly flops. I'm like, this is like, how is this here right now?
I know.
Yep.
That's what
It's crazy. And then you got Biden, who comes out last week, who says he's going to send low-level government employees around house to house, door knocking. And it's under the guise of coming to people to give them the vaccine who maybe they don't have access. Maybe they can't get out.
Because people don't know how.
They don't know how. It's just like black people don't know how to get IDs. And apparently everybody else doesn't know how to go get a vaccine if they want one. And I've also heard, and again, this is stuff, I get my news from social media, especially over the last 5 days because I've just been on the road. Mm-hmm. And apparently you have to post a no trespassing sign on your house because no solicitors doesn't count. In order to be able to file charges against them, you have to post a no trespassing sign, and then you can file civil charges. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm conflicted
there because I don't want the trespass, but I kind of do at this point. You know, I'm like, come to my house, please.
Yeah, no.
Let's talk.
Well, first of all, I'd love to see somebody forcefully try to vaccinate you, Mr. Procter. We're here to.
Yeah. We're here to give you the Fauci jab.
Yeah, that's like our buddy, security consultant and former Delta Force guy, Spencer Corson. Somebody tried to break into his house a few weeks ago, and I mean, you talk about picking the wrong house.
You didn't flip that around like Universal Soldier on this guy. You remember that? I'm like, we're going to sit you down in the chair. I'm going to
Let's see how many pinpricks you can take in your ass. Gotta walk out of there looking like a porcupine. It's sticking out the front now.
He'll be on the next chorus line too.
How many NFL football players are going to get that prick?
I mean, I don't know, but the problem is NFL is cornering them to do it.
Yeah.
And it's crap right now. I mean, you guys probably saw the stuff that came out.
Yeah.
There was totally different guidelines for guys who are vaccinated and who are not. And it's a bunch of trash for the guys who don't want to get it and this has actually happened because I have agents and people in there that they talk about that are worried about it. And so we talked to some of these guys and teams are telling guys that if you don't get it, you could get cut for somebody who does.
Wow.
I tell that to a young guy who's trying to make the team or anybody who's on the bottom of the roster. I'm like, so now you're telling me to go against my convictions if I don't want to do this just to make my dream come true.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is trash. You're backing me into a corner.
And it's different from, say, like a couple of weeks ago, Cole Beasley, who came out and said, I'll just retire. Well, I mean,
totally different.
Cole's made his money, right? He's had his career. He's been successful in that. And then you're right. You got some young guy that's coming out and he's trying to make it in the NFL, and that's the prerequisite you're going to place on him.
I'm proud of Cole for standing up, though.
Yeah,
calling it BS and. You're going to tell me what I can do to my body or can't do?
The problem is it's not going to just happen in the NFL. It's going to happen across the board.
Mm-hmm.
I met with someone the other night who is fighting Methodist Hospital down in Houston because they're requiring their nurses and their caregivers to get
They all stepped out, too.
And they stepped out.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them, they were given the ultimatum, you do this or you're going to be fired. What do you think the reaction across the board is going to be, though? I mean, I imagine the majority of them will take it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it sucks. You're seeing that kind of in mass in society where people are just going because they want to get it over with. I mean, I got a lot of friends and family up in Washington State. Washington, I think it was like 70 or 80% would not get rid of the mask mandate. They just got rid of it until I think it was 70 or 80% of the population got it.
Yeah.
And so many people just wanted to be done with the masks that they just went and got it. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that.
No, you and me both. I did a Skype interview earlier, which is why I'm dressed like this. They can only see the top of my body.
Say that's why.
Yeah, that's why. And I really feel weird when I see myself on this screen here. I talked about how here in the state of Texas hasn't been as bad, honestly, as a lot of states have been. The issue that we've had here in Texas is we're so full of our freedom that you chip away a little piece of it and we get pissed off. Like it just doesn't fly real well with us. Unlike Washington State, which has grown accustomed to having their liberties stolen from them. And I was just up there in Washington, did a show in Everett.
Okay.
And I go up there every year, and every year those folks, they know more about what's going on in Texas politics than people in Texas. And they're going, what the hell, why are y'all putting up with this? We know why we are.
Yeah.
But why are y'all putting up with this stuff? So it's disheartening to hear.
Well, shoot, when you let them shut down a whole 3 or 4 block radius of the city.
Yeah. Create their own little nation.
Like by all means, do whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
and just take anything you want from us.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you got to set a line at some point.
Yeah, this pure insanity. I mean, Lisa, she got the jab the first day. I mean,
I did not. I have the natural antibodies.
Yeah.
No,
Me
I mean,
too.
I got COVID in October. I'm not anti-vax, but now that I've already actually had the virus, I'm definitely not getting it. Like,
Well, I mean, I'm vaccine choice. I don't care what
Yeah.
you do. Just don't impose it on me.
right.
Exactly.
And I was listening to Kayleigh McEnany this morning on Fox, and she had somebody on talking about these solicitors now that are going house to house, and they're like, well, we just want to educate the people. We want to make sure that the American people know that this vaccine is free. How
is
do you not know
not
it's free? We all know it's free.
It's-
We don't need to be educated on it. We know what's going on with this vaccine.
Yeah.
You don't need to send people out to our house and knocking on our door like you're selling Girl Scout cookies to educate us about the vaccine. Everywhere you go, it's there. It's offered. Everywhere you go, we know how to get it.
Yeah.
At some stage, they're probably going to be sending them out in the mail.
Yeah.
They're just going to show up at your
Totally.
house. You can
Just got a
self-administer.
syringe. What is that?
With a YouTube video,
Use a
how to.
syringe, right? Scan the barcode.
Start looking for a good vein. Hey, anybody got a spoon and a lighter?
Could you imagine
You gotta
if
burn this thing.
Trump pitched this? How the left would be if this was last year at this time?
If this was, Kamala
Trump's
Harris
idea.
Kamala Harris said,
Yep.
I will not take a Trump vaccine. I will not do it.
Weird.
And, Trump, and let me just say, I'm one of the first ones to say, Trump became one of the biggest vaccine salesmen of them all, which was disappointing. I get it. He was trying to take credit for Operation Lightspeed. They did get the thing to market very, very fast, which too fast for my comfort. I don't feel good about the whole thing. And this, after a while, you start looking at this and going, we know there's an agenda. We don't know quite what the agenda is, but you guys are really pushing this thing hard. I mean, for something that, and again, you'll see, like we're halfway through 21. We're heading into 22. 22 will be another election year. It'll be a midterm election. Watch what will happen. They'll start pushing these variants again. You'll start having more of the mandate crap, more of the masks. You'll have more of the shutdowns. You just mark my word. There's going to be
Just
more
in time
of it.
for kids to go back to school. Never mind. You're going to have to wear your mask.
But it'll be an election year, and you got to start shutting things down again because they've seen that what they can do, they can manipulate these elections. I've said over and over again, Corey, that's like they had to create a Zoom call society so they could have a Zoom call president.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, a guy he's taking a nap right now.
This,
I mean,
it's most of his days. Right?
Yeah, it's 1:30 in Washington D.C. He's asleep, bro. He had his little Ensure and he's taking his nappy.
Yeah, exactly.
My doctor asked, "Hey, you haven't had the vaccine. Why don't you get the vaccine?" I said, "Nope, no, I'm good. If I get COVID, I'll probably be okay." He's like, "I mean, what's the worst that can happen?" I said, "Right."
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I mean, no, neither do you. I do know that I have a friend that has Bell's palsy right now.
Right.
Because
you
they
know?
got COVID?
No,
No,
because
they got the vaccine.
Oh,
and they said it will clear up between 6 months and 6 years.
That gum.
Yeah. Okay. You cut out 6 years of my life potentially? No
Yeah.
thanks.
Corey, look how pretty this face is.
Right.
Do you think I want it drooping for the next 6 years? I got stuff to do.
I mean, you're only 10% there already.
Exactly. I mean, my gosh. I mean, I already got the double chin. Why do I want it falling off my face?
That's why we get the beard.
I know, right? You think this is for a jawline right here? Anyway, I had a deal. This weekend we're going to be in Roswell, New Mexico, taking the Ragamuffins over there, doing a show at the Liberty in Roswell. We love to entertain the aliens, and we made a post about it. And I said we don't social distance. We're up close and personal. We like to get right up in your face. And of course, I'm making jokes about hey, come see us. And some guy chimes in, and he's like, well, you just like all you Trump tards, you want to kill 600,000 more Americans, But I'm like, geez, dude. I mean, I said we also randomly kiss people at the show. I mean, turn to your neighbor, spit in each other's mouth. Let's get this shit over with. That's kind of my philosophy of the whole thing. Let's build up some herd immunity. But people are taking this thing so seriously. Like, of course, how dare you hinder somebody from them coming house to house? I mean, the progressives, man. You guys are funny little dictators. Y'all will find all kind of ways to justify Marxism and I mean, this is the brown shirts, man. This is Nazi. I remember that first scene in Inglourious Bastards, the Brad Pitt movie where the German officer comes into the house and he's like, "You're hiding them on the floorboards," and like, this is
I switch back to German now.
Do you have unvaxxed people under your floorboards, don't you? And I'm like, this is like what I envision happening with this whole thing. Anyway, I want to get into this Olympic stuff. We're going to take a quick break. But before we do, the only thing I love more than my firearms, well, not a whole lot more, but I do love practicing with my firearms. It's getting hard to do that, though. The cost of ammo is through the roof, which is good if you're people like Natalie and you own a gun store. If you're looking for a cost-effective, safe, and simple way to practice, iTarget was invented to give law-abiding gun owners a better way to train in the safety and privacy of their own home. You don't have to take the inconvenient trips to the range or expensive practice ammunition. Just download iTarget's proprietary app, load the laser bullet. That sounds cool already. Into your firearms, start your training experience. Dry fire training will help develop muscle memory, sharpen target reaction speed, sight alignment, trigger function, and everything else. iTarget Pro comes in all the major calibers, including .223 for your AR, so you can stay sharp with just about any firearm you own. So go to itarget.com, save 10%, plus get free shipping with offer code CHAD. I spell it Chad. It's the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in one day. That's the letter I, targetpro.com. itargetpro.com. Use offer code CHAD, and we'll be right back. Natalie will talk right up until we come right back. The other day, last week, we were able to get 3 episodes done in one day in 3 hours.
Because I wasn't here?
You and Lisa were not here. It was just me and Party Foul Steve.
So is this a sexist thing? Because all the men were here and you're saying that the girls make you
it's 100% a sexist thing. If me telling you that women get in the way.
Candace is going to disagree with you. It's you.
Candace is efficient.
No, I know she's efficient. She would just side with us that it's you that drags us out.
She's a feminist.
She is, yeah.
But, she's one of them third wave feminazis.
I had a question for Cory. So when Cory was playing, I cheered on the sidelines.
You just wanted to get that in, didn't you?
No, we were on the field together.
We worked together.
And I'm just wanting to know, because if they get a Super Bowl ring, the entire staff, like I would get a Super Bowl ring. Mm-hmm. So I just want to know what happened. Because those were some good years.
I know Jerry Jones's brother-in-law likes to walk around holding his out for everybody.
Yeah.
We didn't get it.
Yeah, what happened?
We thought we were going to get it in 2007. Wade Phillips' first year went 13-3.
I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember. Well, we had times, and I didn't start that Giants game. That was when the Giants went on the road to win the whole thing.
Yep.
And we had a couple, because we beat Giants twice that year. And then had the first round bye. Everybody thought we were going, and I remember, like, we missed. Leonard came off on the sideline, Leonard Davis, and he came off, and it's what is called a heavy call, where we have the linebackers that are coming up in both A gaps, and we got to take the whatever's the biggest threat, and they timed it perfect. I don't know if you remember one big scramble that Tony had out, because it came right up the middle, just free, and he comes off, he goes, "Hey, was that a heavy?" Like, that was our call. I go, "I think so, man." It was like, oh. There was a bunch of those. But
so you don't blame it on when when Tony and Jessica went to Witten, they all went to Cabo.
They went to Cabo.
Right before.
I blame Jessica completely. 100%. You let me go to Cabo with Jessica, and I'm on the plane, baby. You know what I'm talking about?
Bye.
Bye, Felicia's.
Oh, yeah. I'd been gone for that.
Did Des catch it?
Oh,
he caught that.
He caught it.
That.
I mean, I've had so many people try to argue me on that.
Nope.
I'm watching that game.
No, that was a catch.
I remember where I was. I remember what bar I was sitting in. I remember what I was eating, what flavor chicken wings up there off of Western Center. And I'm watching that game. I was pissed off.
We just had our baby girl. I was watching it in the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was a catch.
It was a catch.
Yeah.
No question about
100%.
it. I mean, look, I've been a Cowboys fan my entire life. I don't always like to admit that, but I have been. I've been the ups and downs on the night I was born. And I told Roger Staubach this story in person. On the night I was born, Staubach was out that season because he hurt himself in a preseason game, had shoulder surgery. This was 72. They were playing this Redskins, and they were going into overtime, and my father would not leave the television to take my mother to the hospital. He told her she just needed to tighten up and wait. And I was telling this story to Staubach, and Roger said, if I'd have been playing that season, we wouldn't have been in overtime. I'm like, oh. That dude's funny, though, man. He can tell you every play from every game, every season.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just the details. I mean, he'll bore you to death with it, but he's got it in his head.
He was good. We were talking about fans and how weird fans can be sometimes. And I had one person ask me, they always ask like who you play with and whatever. But one fan said like, oh, you played with Cowboys, so you played with Staubach then? And I'm like, really? How old do you think I look right now?
Tony Dorsett, we were killing it together, man.
I'm like, you just took it to a weird place.
Yeah.
How was Landry as a coach?
Yeah, me and Drew Pearson, we were having a ball. I mean, golly, that's funny. People,
I age well, so.
You do age well.
That's some good Botox.
Man, I'll tell you what.
I got it in the mail.
I know.
What was your take on, I mean, would guys like Kaepernick and those guys and that big old wave of kneeling for the anthem and stuff like that, people talk about boycotting the NFL. Do you feel like, from your perspective, did it affect the NFL at all, in the pocketbook at all? Or did they just like, screw it, we're just going to keep muscling through it and take the ad revenue and rock and roll?
Oh, they'll keep muscling through that thing, right? But I mean, I don't know how much it affected revenue numbers.
I wonder, like, the boycott thing. Like, I'm not a big boycott person.
No.
But I'm just wondering if those actually do any good.
The Nike ad, or
just
or the
all
boycott,
just
boycott
the whole
thought?
thing, just the fans going, nah, we're done.
I don't think so, because you still come back to it. We still love the game,
right?
And I'm like, listen, I hated all the stuff that happened last year, but I'm still going to watch my buddies play and the guys that I like, and so I'm not going to stop. I had a lot of guys that were like, I'm never watching the freaking game again.
Yeah,
and
I know some people who have like held it up. I mean, they're like, done with it.
But I
was weak, people. I had to go back. I mean, I had to go back. Now I'm a college football guy, 100%. It's just, to me, college football is a different game from the NFL. It's just there's a different motivation. There's a lot of different dynamics to it, and I respect and appreciate both of the games for the way they're played in their own respective ways. Now, me and I had Dennis Miller, who of course was a comedian and did Monday Night Football for a season, and had him on the show one time years ago, and he made a great analogy. He said, football used to be about a bunch of gladiators that strapped on the pads, girls on the sidelines in their short skirts, and we like to watch people bust their heads, and every now and then it would pan over to the pretty girls, and it was just like being in the Coliseum on a Saturday or on a Sunday or a Monday night. These days, everything's got to be political. Yeah. Everything's got to be politicized. And I think that with, and then that Gwen, whatever name was, that was the hammer thrower. And she turned her back and threw her little activist flag or T-shirt over her head when they played the anthem. Now I think that what pro sports has done is just encourage people at every level to make a name for themselves, get some notoriety, get some cash out of it just by being activists. Yeah. I mean, have you seen that kind of as a trend?
100%. I mean, it's an easy way to get headlines on you.
Right.
I mean, what's our media today is just attention grab. Yeah. If I can, as long as I can get your eyeballs, it doesn't matter if it's true or not.
Yeah.
And so that's the same thing there, is if I can get a big story on me, and a lot of, it'll entrench one way or the other. And usually, especially those, they're not good.
Right.
It's usually an ungrateful place.
Yeah.
Like, instead of, hey, I want to bring something to light, but I'm thankful to be here because this is a pretty awesome spotlight to be at an Olympic trial stage for my country that I'm doing this for. I get this opportunity, but instead I want to bash my country. Yeah. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
You're there to represent your country.
Yeah.
You knew what you were getting into.
Right.
And then you have these, mediocre male athletes who decide that they're going to compete with the girls. And it's never the other way around.
Those are the ones that suck at sports.
And life in general.
Yes.
So they're like, you know what, let's lop off our wieners and go play, And whether they lop them off or not, it's still. I mean, this is the most ludicrous thing in the world.
I made a post on Facebook. I'll get backlash some here and there, but
Sure.
I made a post because I had a doctor's appointment the other day, and it gave me two options when I was doing the electronic check-in, and it said sex at birth, gender at birth, and gender you identify with.
Oh my gosh.
And so I kind of put one out on Facebook. I'm like, when has a lie gone too far before you stop it?
Yeah.
And it drives me insane because, I mean, I watched a video the other day because my brother's a cop. A video the other day of a guy impersonating a cop getting arrested because he impersonated a cop, right? And the whole time he's like humming and hawing through this. Well, I got permission. No, you're not a cop. You have a fake badge, plastic badge. And the same thing. Why do we have this? We're like, it's very clear. No, you are not a man. You're a woman. You're
Right.
born a woman, or you're not a woman. You are a man. We have a specific anatomy towards that, and let's stop this dumbing down of it's okay because you just feel like this, and you're not just hurting yourself. You're hurting everybody around you.
Yeah.
By going to this, and I get people that come at me. Well, you're just afraid of who they are. No, I'm just not afraid to take a stance because your passivity is destroying people.
Exactly.
I'm not afraid of the enemy trying to come at my house. I'm afraid of the person who's not willing to stop him.
Yeah.
That's the one
right.
who's going to scare me to death because
Yeah.
I got to make a stand for my family.
Yeah.
And-
Because you've created a false reality, and now we got to try to live in it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense. I want to talk a little bit more about that because I got a point there. Patriot Mobile, our good friends over at Patriot Mobile. You got major corporations that are going woke, the folks like the NFL and just all these crazy businesses out there, canceling free speech. Folks, partner with the companies that are deserving of your trust. I don't know if you realize this or not, but a lot of wireless companies, they support left-wing causes that threaten our freedoms and beliefs. You got Patriot Mobile out there, though. They're different. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless company. They donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you and I care about. Right now, they've got two great offers to choose from. Either get 50% off your first 2 months or $100 off any phone. Both come with free Premier activation. Go to patriotmobile.com/Chad for details. Patriot Mobile has the broadest nationwide coverage and uses the same towers as the major providers, so you get great service for less money. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Chad, or you can call their top-rated U.S.-based team at 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. You're going to have better, even more savings for veterans and first responders. Go to Patriot Mobile, a company you can trust to support your values. PatriotMobile.com/Chad, PatriotMobile.com/Chad, or 972-PATRIOT. Be right back. Oh my gosh! They were talking about they changed the boot camp and the PT requirements for the Army.
Yes.
Because I got the counter, Candace. It'll be fine.
I thought it was Air Force.
Well, the Air Force changed their thing too. But this is a different thing. They changed because only like 7% of the women were passing, and so they lessened the requirement. But like, what if you're a dude that fails? The PT requirements in the Army, could you not just say, well, I identify as a woman, so I'm going to do the lesser?
That's funny.
I mean, it's insanity, this
Right.
whole thing. Anyway, I digress on all that stuff. Yeah, the Air Force said they know the pilots no longer have to qualify with the 5-mile run.
Right.
They can just walk
Mile
it
and a
out.
half. Yeah.
Like a mall walk, a speed walk.
What if you crash in enemy territory?
You better
Yeah.
learn how to run.
Well, I'm like, gotta hoof it, man.
There was a guy that I saw that had plastic surgery to change his face is a white
Be a
guy
Korean.
to be Asian.
Korean was specifically. He
Korean.
wanted to be Korean.
And then they asked a bunch of Asian Koreans, "Oh, is he now Korean?" And they
Yeah.
were like, "No." Well, why not? Because he's not Korean.
Yeah.
I
mean,
mean,
you can't do surgery to make him speak Korean.
Right.
I mean, so you're not.
Oh, that'd be great, though, if you could.
18 facial surgeries that guy had.
yeah.
He was just a regular old white guy.
Nah, I don't know what he was.
I don't know if he's
Tropic
regular.
Thunder? What is that?
Yeah, right.
You got booty
I'm
juice on the
dude
side?
playing
What,
the
is-
dude.
what do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
So that didn't make him any more Korean.
No. You drop him off in Korea, trust me, they will not look at him as Korean. That ain't going to happen. That guy cannot make kimchi. All right, just because you get the surgery. I mean, but that's the insanity, Corey. I mean, so speaking of Asians, Tokyo's Olympic Village will be very vaccinated. IOC estimates that well above 80% of athletes will have their shots, but with unequal vaccination access globally, the preparations are raising yet another debate. Some 15,000 Olympians and Paralympians from more than 200 countries, along with thousands of other coaches, support staff, blah, blah, blah. They go to Japan. The Olympics and the Paralympics games kick off in July. It's going to be a pretty vaccinated place, apparently. So what they're doing, I guess, is they're making sure that some of the global population that doesn't immediately have access to the vaccinations, they can get them there. Is that right, Candace? Basically? Well, good for them. That's great. Japan's vaccination campaign, after a sluggish start, is now inoculating about 1 million people a day. But that won't even be close enough to get everyone under 65 jabbed by the time the Olympic ceremonies start in late July. But, I mean, they're not even letting the average person come in to the Olympics to watch it. You got to be like a VIP or a dignitary or somebody like that.
And even then, you got to be vaccinated.
You got to be vaccinated.
And then I heard they have to quarantine. They got to get checked like all the way up till they enter. Then they got to they got to quarantine. They got to get checked again. There's 100 different checks before you actually get into the venue.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like you wouldn't even want to go.
Like, where's the release? All right, you get
guess
you got to quarantine. You got to check.
After the Olympics when you leave, I don't know. But that Stu and Pat were talking about that this last week, one of those mornings, that they were saying there's so many checkpoints and there's so many different steps that you have to take so they can ensure that you are, COVID free or whatever.
And here's the thing about the vaccination, right? So it was supposed to be two inoculations.
Right.
Now they're adding a third.
Yeah, a booster.
Yeah.
It's
Didn't
it's non-ending.
Pfizer just asked for that?
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't get enough sales from the first round.
Exactly. We really need to hit our quota. And see, where that comes in, Corey, in my opinion, is they needed more people. Joe kept talking about more people need to be vaccinated so we could celebrate the 4th of July with our friends and family. We could get together in our gatherings.
Oh, my gosh.
And they didn't hit that quota. So now what are they doing? They've got to push another one because you're right. Financially, this is the most expensive Olympics ever.
Oh, yeah.
Most expensive Olympics, $25 billion.
Oh, my gosh. That's a sin.
With a couple extra billion added on due to the 1-year pandemic delay.
How about just delay it indefinitely?
Yeah.
I think they're going to do a special spot for every single athlete to complain about something, too.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
That's right. When they get a medal, they can talk about why they hate the U.S.
So much to look forward to.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Can't wait to hate on stuff.
Have y'all heard Aaron Lewis's new song?
Yes, I love it.
So I messaged those. So he and Ira Dean wrote that song. I messaged them yesterday. Ira's a buddy, and I was like, "Y'all killed it on that song." I mean, it's just raw and just hardcore. And I was listening to it yesterday, and I was just like, tearing up.
It's like really good, and I love the explicit version.
Got such a great voice.
Yeah.
And,
my buddy Casey Donahue.
Yeah,
he said he has his crowd. He does the Pledge of Allegiance every show.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's awesome. And that funny random story about that. Me and Mark Colombo went and saw Aaron Lewis at Billy Bob's one time. We went back and we got to meet him and stuff. And then when Colombo and I get together and party a little bit, we kind of talk a lot of crap. He's from Boston, so he kind of taught me how to talk a lot of shit.
y'all are big enough you can do that.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want to say.
And so we get into almost fighting mode.
Yeah.
And Aaron and everybody else in this back room is sitting there watching these
and
two
Billy
guys.
Bob's ain't a big back room.
No, it's small.
No.
And so it was just funny because Aaron's sitting there like, are these guys going to fight right now?
Yeah.
And we're just like yelling at each other the whole time.
Start
but it was
busting
funny.
through the sheetrock where everybody signed their name and put their band logos on the thing. It's like, hey. No, they killed it on that song. I texted Ira yesterday or the other day, and I was like, dude, y'all destroyed that song. It was just fantastic. And I'm glad to see the listen to the explicit version.
Yeah. It's the
That's
only
the
way.
raw one.
It's
Listen
the
to
only way.
I make no apologies. Bring the kids in the room. Call your pastor. Get them in there.
What's the name of the song?
Am I the only
Am I the
one?
only one?
Right. So good.
And like normally when everybody's jumping on a bandwagon or something, like my buddy John Rich releases some patriotic song or whatever, I'm like, I'll listen to it at some point. Like, okay, it's another one of those feel-gooders, I'm American, it's for the troops. Yeah. but you make light of it because it's like, how many times can we do? But then you listen to it and you're like, damn, these guys really did a good job. Like they did a good job. But that's the kind of thing that, like, that's when I'm reading stuff like this with the Olympics and you want to piss on your country that you're representing and all this stuff. Like, there's the effing door.
Yeah.
Get out. And I'm starting to get. I'm already unapologetic, but I'm starting to get brazenly so, because I'm just like pissed off at these people.
It's tough, man. Most of these people complaining, they've never even been out of our country.
Right.
I mean, I get like I love to travel. I haven't been a lot of places, but I've been to Africa with Chris Long. We got to climb Kili, but you're seeing people legit like die hunting for their food, living in huts every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come. And we're sitting here complaining about, I'm complaining about how many grams of protein are in my protein shake.
I know, right? I handed you a bottle of water earlier, and I was like, well, it's not cold.
Room temperature, so sorry.
Can I have an alkaline water, please? I'll have a Voss. That's where we're living, dude.
I would like my chilled tumbler. Somebody please pass that.
I want to get chocolate wasted. What is that?
You know what? I'm so depressed. Where's the kisses?
You guys pray for Corey. He didn't get cold water.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the issue. A lot of times is like, well, hold up. Go find somebody who's a little worse off than you right now.
Yeah.
And come back and stop complaining about what you got. Because we got an amazing place we live in.
But it's too logical for them to think like that, Corey.
It
Come
is.
on.
Yeah, you're not oppressed. You're living in this country. We have an obesity problem amongst our impoverished. Right? I mean, it's our homeless are fat. And this is a fact. I mean, there's real issues in this country, but we're not oppressed people.
If you're on welfare in our country,
but we're not oppressed.
20%.
Yeah, exactly.
In the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been there, man. I've been in Africa, spent extensive time there, pulling guinea worms out of people's legs in villages that they got from muddy water and stuff. Just you take a matchstick and you get the head of that worm out and you start rolling it, Lisa.
That's
around that
interesting.
matchstick. I pulled one out that was a foot long one time. Rolled up in somebody's calf.
That's nasty.
Yeah. And you won't tell me you're oppressed. Anyway, hang tight. We'll be right back. ProCapitalTX.com. Corey's website, his wealth management company. Check him out. Got an extra $100K laying around. Let Corey take care of it for you. How about that?
I got a minimum, man.
Do you have a minimum?
Yeah, I got a minimum.
Yeah.
There
you go. I don't blame you. I do too when it comes to chicks. I couldn't let it go. I had to say it. But you know what? It's good to know. I remind people things that they already know, but it's good to remind folks. There's good folks out there in the world of pro sports, pro athletes, people with the same values, same convictions. And, even though you're not playing these days, you were there and you got those same convictions. There's a lot of folks out there, and I feel for those guys who are dealing with what they're dealing with.
It's hard. 'Cause, I mean, we talked about that. I get my text strings that blow up like I'm not watching anymore.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them, I promise there's good guys.
Sure.
Good people there, and they stay silent. And it sucks because, especially as a player, you don't want to do anything to jeopardize your role in the team. And because that'll come down, coach tell you to shut up, or owner, or whoever.
That's the whole point of it.
And I get it, right? Because we're on their roster. But it's hard. But there's a lot of good people out there that just, a lot of good common sense, and they're trying to do right by themselves and their families. And so it sucks because they just get lumped in with all the crazy.
Yeah. We're going to leave it there. Corey, thanks for coming on the show. You guys, we love you. Check us out tomorrow night, Tuesday, the underrated day of the week. WatchChad.com is where all the fun stuff is. Prather2022.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Love you. God bless. Bye.